Hey guys, welcome back to the Kampai Sugai podcast. Guys, it's been a good week for me. It's been really good. It's been really busy week for me. And I'm kind of ending it off with a very good guest of mine who's here today. He's director of marketing for SoMee, which we'll talk about. He's also an MMA coach, former Iowa State wrestler, which is Iowa State very known for their wrestling. I don't know if you guys know this. They have a lot of great wrestlers that came out from Iowa State. But we'll talk about it. And someone who is the CEO and founder of Collier Investment Group, or CIG, and Collier Consulting and Management Group. Please give a round of applause for Mr. Dallas Collier, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on the show, dude.
It was weird because I met you that night at the Hawaii Entrepreneurs event, and that was the first time I met you. But it was fun. We had a couple of jokes, and I asked you, I was like, "Hey, man, if you ever need somebody to be on the show, here we are, a couple of weeks later." I love the way it worked out.
Yeah, it was pretty recent, actually.
Yeah, it was, and it's like the way we got introduced by Kelly. It was funny. He's like, "Hey, Gavin, here's Dallas." Boom, and then that's it.
It was crazy that night. There was like some people I wanted to like talk story with, but I only got to talk story with maybe a third of the people there because there was just so many people there.
Yeah,
and I kept getting pulled into other groups. Like they're like, "Hey, why don't you? Hey, Gavin, meet these guys. Hey, meet these guys."
It was super high energy.
Fishing girls, there's people like, hey, you guys gotta have these guys on the show. There was like 5 people that were doing that. So it's like I met them like 5 different times at the same party.
Have you met fishing girls before that previously though? Oh, okay.
But we knew of each other.
Same. Well, I used to work with Chevis.
Oh, okay.
So I used to work with him. He introduced me to Caleb. I was on their show once a year or 2 ago. But those guys are awesome. I love the way they actually catch the fish, talk about it, cook it, and then feed me. I mean, that was awesome, right? They
filmed the whole thing.
Yeah, and they filmed the whole thing. I can honestly say that. He was like, "Oh, I'm just going to whip up a house sauce together." I was like, "Bro, you should package this sauce, sell it in times, because that's how fucking good that sauce was." He's just like, "Oh, I'm going to whip up something in like 5 seconds."
What kind of sauce was it?
It was like spicy, something sweet and spicy, but I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Oh, this fish, it's not that good." I was like, "Yeah, but you caught it this morning. Anything fresh caught this morning is better than something frozen."
That's true.
Yeah, so it was amazing. Like I would, if I ever got to a point in my life where, and this is the journey that I'm headed to, and I would like to, be that financially successful. If there was a point in my life where I could tell them, "Hey guys, if I fund your project and get you out there in the market, will you guys be my personal chefs?" Seriously, the fish was that good. Did he cook for you when he was on the show?
No.
Oh.
But so it was last week, but there was a storm last week. So they were supposed to come and bring something.
Oh man.
But that was during the time where they had that big thunderstorm.
And it was around the whole island, but still, Kanye is the worst for that.
Bro, I thought that was a freaking like missile crisis again. I thought Ige was gonna go on his Twitter and go, "Hey guys, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get canceled for that."
Accidental button again, man. That was was that 2017 or something that happened?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, whatever. No, next time you got to get on. Hopefully, we'll do. Tell them you need your +1. I'm your +1.
Yeah, good.
When Fishing Girls cooks for you next time, you need a +1.
Yeah,
I'm there. Nah, it was that good. But I'm glad you got to chat with them too. Those guys are awesome. Good guys, really, really good guys. Chevis also coaches MMA too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, kickboxing.
So, yeah. I met him at a former job. We were both younger. I think I was 19 years old, 20 years old. Okay. And he was he's either one or a couple years older than me, I think. But we used to do like we worked at Pearl Harbor.
Oh, okay.
So we had pretty good jobs for our age at the time. But we both were like, what are we doing here?
Was that Pearl Harbor program, that shipyard?
It was a shipyard program, but it was a subcontractor.
Oh,
so
okay.
I do have that sort of construction type of experience when, like I said, when I was 19, 20 years old. It was my first time in that industry. I was a hard worker though. I was always a hard worker, and I broke some records in that company too. I was one of the fastest, or I was actually the fastest to get the first raise when you get as a, the apprentice raise or whatever. It was non-union, but still, I was a hard worker, and I was doing pretty well in the company for my age. But then I realized, like, I just dropped out of college wrestling at Iowa State University to do this. Yeah, I was getting paid a really good for a 20-year-old dude. I was making a lot of money because we worked a lot of overtime, right?
Yeah.
Taking home $1,000 a week, maybe. And that's take home after taxes. And I was like, this is cool for a 20-year-old. Yeah, but I was like, man, you know what? Is this how I want to live my life forever? Dreading going to work early in the morning. Like nowadays, I wake up at 4 in the morning because I want to, right? Like the stock markets. I mean, unfortunately, in Hawaii, we're 5 hours behind of New York, so the stock market opens 4:30 here, even though it's 9:30 and opening day was 9:30. But I choose to do that. But when I was working construction, I was like, I have to do that, and my mindset was like, do I want to continue doing things that I have to do, or do I want to do things that I want to do? So I decided, what do I truly love and what do I truly want to do, and that brought me back to wrestling again. So I actually, after a year at Iowa State, and we can talk more about that if you want, but after a year at Iowa State, then coming home, doing 2 years at the shipyard, I actually went back to college, and a lot of people don't know this. I transferred to a Division II school,
Right.
St. Cloud State University.
Yeah.
That school became, let's just say as in that was my old school, alma mater, but 5 of the last 6 NCAA championships at D2. Yeah. And I was on the first national championship team there. So I decided to go back to wrestling. And when I found out I lost my eligibility to wrestle back at D1 again, because I wasted 3 years, the next best thing in my mind, right? I always strive for greatness. So the next best thing was D2. And not only am I going to go to D2, I'm going to find the best school.
Yeah.
I'm going to put myself in the best scenario, the best environment to be successful. I chose Minnesota. Right? So you went from Iowa.
In the blistering cold.
It's so funny. Steve Costanza was the head coach there, and he told me, Dallas, yeah, you're already an Iowa State wrestler. You already been through the cold. It's exactly the same. He lied, of course. He's trying to recruit me. Let's just say on the coldest day of Iowa State in Ames, Iowa, it was about, let's just say 0 degrees, maybe like a -5. In St. Cloud, we don't ever shut down school for snow days. That's like a high school thing. That's a myth.
Yeah.
In college, if it's blizzard, you still have to go to class. They canceled class because it was -60 degrees. They said if you were to stay outside for too long, you would freeze to death. You would die. So that's the difference in how cold it was in Minnesota to Iowa.
St. Cold University.
Hey, I never heard that, but I'm gonna coin that right now.
St. Cold.
St. Cold University. They're still killing it. Top 3 every year. NCAAs. But yeah.
Hey, shout out to St. Cloud, man.
Yeah, shout out to St. Cloud. It was good. I met some of my best friends in life over there, man. It was pretty good. I liked it.
So did you start wrestling in high school? Was it, or like junior
I'm a
high?
late bloomer, man.
Okay.
I actually started wrestling in high school. I'm gonna tell a funny story. I'm just opening up today. I'm gonna tell you guys a story, all right?
Okay.
So the only people who know this story about me are the ones that actually went to high school with me. Okay? And I'm not gonna cut this out. We're gonna keep this, all right? So my freshman year, a good friend of mine, one of my best friends till today, he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey man, football season's done. Let's join the wrestling team." And I said, like, "Nah, man." And back then, this was okay to say, guys. I'm just letting you know about it. Nah, man, that's a little gay, right? We're wearing like things, we're touching men. And that was like in 2005, 2006. So I was like, I don't want to do that. But he goes, he was like, "Oh, but the guys and the girls team, they get to wrestle each other." And at that time, one of the hottest girls in our school, she was on the wrestling team. And he was like, "Bro, you have a chance to wrestle her." And I was like, I'm in. Fuck it, I'm in. Right? Turns out I fell in love with it. But that first year was a roller coaster. I got so good in like the first 3 weeks of like beginning practice after football season. And like, look at me, I'm small. There's no way I had a career in football, even though I love football. But it was so funny. That first year, I had like a 2.0 grade point average. I was barely making it. I was barely making it. I didn't give a shit about anything. I wanted to wrestle with the hot girls. Like, that's where my mind was at the time. I was 14, 15 years old. That's where my mind was at. when I joined the wrestling team, I was like, oh, this is a little fun. I ended up being like 6-0 to start the season.
Wow.
I lost my 7th match. But we do this thing in wrestling season called a hydration test where it's illegal to use saunas, plastics to cut weight because, the health of the kids, the students. So we took a bus ride to Kapolei High School to do a hydration test, a body fat test to tell you how low of a weight class you can get to if you're fully hydrated and how much body fat you're able to lose. Okay. So on the way to the hydration test, I passed it. I made the lowest weight class, 103, no problem. I probably walked around at 105 my freshman year. But on the way back, now this is the story. On the way back from the hydration test, the same friend that told me about the girl, we're class clowns, okay? We were voted most likely to be like class clowns and maybe not make it in life, okay? So he was like, hey man, let's moon the people outside the bus. Let's stick our ass out the window. So he did it first, right? He did it first, and then he was like, do it. And so I went full bare ass, stuck my ass out the school bus window, driving back from Kapolei to Aiea High School where I went. And I was just kept doing it. Next thing you know, the bus driver pulls over and like, what's going on? And even I was like, why are we pulling over? It's like, whatever. There was a lady with her kids in the back seat. And she pulled the bus driver over and she said what happened. And all I know is my coach and the bus driver went outside. He came back out and he was like, I don't even know how to ask this. All right, who did it? I was like, huh? And he was like, who's sticking their butt out the window? Immediately, I came up. I was like, that was me, right? And I did not rat my friend out, by the way. So that motherfucker owes me. But I told him, it was me. Dude, I got suspended from school for 4 weeks.
Oh,
because I got suspended for a week before winter break. This was the week before Christmas break.
Oh, man.
The whole entire Christmas break, I couldn't go to practice.
Wow.
I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go to the matches. And then the week after that, I was also suspended.
Oh.
So growing up, I would get suspended from school every year. That's the path and the trajectory where I was headed, right? But after getting suspended, I was like, it's just wrestling. My grade point average sucks anyway. I didn't really care. But for some reason, there was something about wrestling that really changed my life forever. It kind of made me the guy who I am today. It shapes a lot of young men and women these days to become successful, not only in sports, but in life. Because when I returned from that suspension, I realized that I took about 4 weeks off and I got kind of smashed by guys that I was beating before. And then I pretty much missed that whole season. So my true full first season was my sophomore year of high school. So I am a late bloomer when it comes to wrestling. But man, when I got back, one of the assistant coaches was like, hey, you should come watch the state tournament. It might change your perspective on wrestling. I said, fuck it, I'll do it. I went to the state tournament and I saw, and this was like the best match in like the history of high school wrestling in Hawaii at the time. It was a guy from St. Louis. He was a 3-time state champ going for his 4th. And there was a guy from Kahuku that was a 2-time state champ going for his 3rd, both seniors. The guy who was a 2-time state champ going for his 3rd, his only loss was to that one St. Louis guy.
Wow.
Their freshman year in the state
Crazy.
final. So they were both 4-time state finalists. So they met that year, their senior year. And the guy from St. Louis ended up winning, becoming a 4-time state champ, beating the guy from Kahuku.
But yeah.
But when I saw that match in the final of the state championship, and it was like the highlight match, the last match of the night, it was like they hyped this up in the newspapers, and it was a big thing. And that's when I realized, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to devote my entire life to that match. I want to be that guy that everyone in the arena is talking about. I wanted that power. I wanted to be known as that guy. So I decided I'm going to make a little bit of a life change. So that whole summer I trained. That next year, I won the prestigious preseason tournament, which is called the Officials Tournament. I won that technically my first year wrestling, my sophomore year. And I immediately started varsity, placed in the state tournament.
Nice.
But the fact that that year, two quarters I had a 4.0 GPA, and the other 2 quarters I had a 3.8 GPA.
Nice.
So I changed my life. It turned my life around.
That's
And
a huge turn.
that's what martial arts will do to you.
Mm.
And I count wrestling as one of the toughest martial arts that there is in the world, because I could, and this is no offense, right? Like, I could take a boxing class for fun. I could be a 45-year-old single mom that wants to go to the gym and lose weight, and I'll do a boxing class. You could do jiu-jitsu class. I've seen 60-year-old men do jiu-jitsu classes just to stay in shape, white belts. I've never heard this phrase come out of my mouth of any regular civilian that has not wrestled before or done any martial arts. Hey, guys. Hey, boys, let's go to the park and let's put out the wrestling mats and let's go wrestle. You don't hear that. It's because wrestling's tough. It's probably the hardest sport in terms of like your mental game and your physical game put together. Have you ever golfed?
A few times, yeah.
Golf is probably the toughest mental sport I've ever encountered. It's fucking hard. And then there are a lot of other physical sports out there, but I think when it comes to mental and physical combined, I think wrestling is the hardest. Yeah. MMA is right there though. It's like very, very similar. But wrestling is the hardest because it's you against that guy. No one else. You can't blame it on the kicker. You can't say like, oh, I had a bad day, because at the end of the day, they're not going to remember the excuse. They're not going to remember the guy who, illegally slammed the guy to get. All they're going to remember is who's up at that podium at first place. They're going to remember who won the Super Bowl that year. They're not going to know like, oh, but what about, in week 3, Tom Brady threw 4 picks. They're not going to remember that. Yeah. They're going to remember that he won all those Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? So I carry that aspect of winning and success for the rest of my life. And that's why I'm not going to sit here and tell you like, hey man, I'm the most successful guy in the world, but I've started, 6 different companies here in Hawaii. I've done a lot of different things, had a lot of different successes, met a lot of successful people, partnered with successful people in companies. But I think it truly comes down to the roots of me learning how to devote my life to something and commit my life to something to be successful. You know what I'm saying? And once you break that threshold of that commitment and belief level, you can fucking accomplish anything you want in life. Like anyone, like bro, like like the way you're committed to this podcast, who's to say you're not gonna be the next Joe Rogan? You know what I'm saying? You can do any fucking thing you want to do in life as long as you're committed, you're consistent, and you break that threshold of like belief, like, oh, I can be a Joe Rogan here. Start in Hawaii and do this shit, and then you can, man. That's what I love about life. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I totally believe that, because like even like there's some people out there, they're just like, oh, like for podcasters, like I want to be a big podcaster in like Hawaii, and then I was telling people like that's not like the goal. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
I love that already. I love that.
Bigger. I mean, like I just tell them like Hawaii's small. You know what I mean? Like that's just a small market. There's other countries. You know what I mean? Some people are like, yeah, I want to be the biggest podcaster in the U.S., but it's like that's just one country. There's like Canada, there's Brazil, there's continents, there's Australia, you know what I mean? But see, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like worldwide like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm trying to expand it to where it's palatable for all different countries. Yes. You know what I mean?
I love that. But and the way that you're publicly stating that, putting your name on the line, putting your life on the line, publicly stating that to your listeners right now, that they know that this guy's not just in it for the fame, the quick run, or in investing, we call it the pump and dump. He's not in it for that. I could tell, I could tell your passion for this, your commitment to it. The amount of times you followed up with me to make sure I was coming, like, hey, yeah, you come in Friday, right? Like, yeah, here's the address. But that shows that you want it. And people can tell, like, when I walk into a room, I can read the room and say, like, okay, this guy, I know what he wants. I know what he's after. He's like a winner. He wants it. And I can see that guys are like just trying to suck ass and try to take the easy way out and be a little lazy and kiss ass. And, like you can tell, but I feel the vibe. I feel the energy today with you. Thank you. Yeah, man, I love it. I love that you're trying to do something bigger than just Hawaii, I love that. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is just trying to build something different. You know what I mean? Like, you see podcasts these days, they're very I mean, before the idea was to do a bar setting kind of thing, but everybody does that.
Yeah.
Shit, you know what I mean? And then like this whole setup was just created because I was like, I work from home like this. Like I'm an accountant,
Oh, sick.
so I work sitting down on the ground, and then my TV's
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
So I have 2 screens, right?
Perfect.
But then I was like, fuck, if I already do like sit on the ground and
Yeah.
then do shit like this,
Yeah.
why don't I do podcasting like it?
Why not?
You know what I mean?
What do you
So-
mean again?
What do you mean?
Or did you say podcast again?
Well,
You did this before?
No, well, I didn't. So I actually had an old podcast. I don't know
Yeah,
if I
what
said
is
again,
that?
but the old podcast was called Talk Story with Gavin Sugai.
Okay.
But that was very it was very broad. I mean, this podcast is still broad, but we didn't niche it down to where it is now.
Yeah.
But it was like, you know, I would go to different people, and then
Okay.
we would record at their places and stuff like that.
Okay.
Radio stations
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But the way it is now, this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is good. I like that you changed the vibe a little bit. So what's up with this? Like, why did you choose this samurai Japanese style vibe?
I just wanted to do like a tea house kind of like
Got it.
vibe. Just cause
Got it.
like, I don't know, my wife drinks a lot of tea, you know, and
I tried it too. It's healthy.
yeah, and then we you know, I just like the vibe of like the tea house setting. The colors worked with the whole vibe as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And what is okay, I'm gonna ask you this only because I'm probably the worst Asian when it comes to knowing heritage. What does Kampai mean?
Cheers.
Like, cheers, that's what it means?
Yeah, that's why we
Okay.
got the shot glass.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I figured.
So technically, it's KANPAI,
Kampai.
but the reason why I put the M instead of the N is because in Japanese, the
Yeah.
N sound is kind of like an M.
Yeah.
But then also for like American audiences,
Yeah.
it makes they associate it with the M. So
Okay, got
that's why
it.
it was M over the N.
Yeah, got it.
For
And then-
for people that are curious.
and then so far, what are some of the big names? I mean, okay, I did do a little research as well, but what are some of the big names that you think that you've had on the show so far? I've seen some big ones.
we had BJ Penn.
Yeah, I seen
that one was man.
Hey, BJ Penn sat right here. Where I'm
BJ Penn
sitting.
sat right there on that pillow.
Yes,
And
All right.
shout out to BJ, man. He's such a cool guy.
he is. He's
That
amazing.
was a trippy one because when they came in, it was BJ, and then shout outs to Hoyt. That was his I'm not sure if they're related actually. I'm looking at Kelsey to figure out if they're related. I'm sorry. Sorry, Hoyt. but yeah, they came. BJ was all chill. He came in,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the show, he was like ecstatic. Like we were
Yeah.
talking story after,
Yeah.
and of course, waiting for BJ to come back on. We just haven't found a good time to get him back on or a good moment.
So when you got him on, it was while he was running.
Yeah.
Oh,
while he was
okay.
running.
And then how long was that episode? You think?
It was like an hour and a half or an hour.
Sick, man.
Yeah.
You know what? Like BJ, I always knew that I liked him because of obviously I'm a fighter too, right? And he was the fastest to ever get his black belt, world championship for non-Brazilian. He was the fastest. But when he started to run for Gov, in the beginning, of course everyone's gonna be skeptical.
Yeah.
But when I saw him go on to Joe Rogan's podcast and he explained exactly what he stood for and the reason why he wanted to fight, and he kept calling himself like, I'm a fighter. I want to fight for this city. I want to fight for this state. That's when I was like, you know what? I can get behind this. And so, I started to believe in what he was doing, and I started to believe that what he was doing could work, So, he'll get another shot, and it'll be, it'll be good.
He's
It'll be
definitely not done.
Yeah,
Because
no,
like
he'll get another shot.
We've had messages online, but yeah, he's definitely
He's
not
a
done.
fighter.
Yeah.
We're fighters. That's what we do. We don't ever give up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, he's learned that from jiu-jitsu as much as I learned that from wrestling. He's learned that from MMA. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah. Speaking
Yeah.
of MMA, that's he's a guy that like literally went from the bottom, just growing up in Hawaii,
Mhm.
and then learning jiu-jitsu, becoming the best at it, joining all kinds of different MMA circuits, right? Like he joined so many different promotions, got as many fights as he could, made it to the UFC, became champ, multiple weight classes. He's one of the greatest of all time, for sure. And it's guys like that make. I'm sure you have majority of your listeners are in Hawaii, right? But like that just gives us even more hope that like guys from Hawaii are doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I want to see your podcast do it too, because it's like not too many podcasters out of Hawaii make it very, very, very far, and not in fact not too many guys in Hawaii doing anything make it very, very far. But you already had BJ Penn, you've had some big names
Jason
on here.
Scully,
Yeah, exactly.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Shout outs to and Lindsey Watson.
Yeah.
Shout outs to the and
Yeah.
David Cunningham.
So what do? You just reach out to them?
You know, it's funny. So a lot of those are referrals, which is weird. I don't. So like for David Cunningham, like Jason Scully, Lindsey Watson, that was a referral.
Okay.
Same thing for BJ's.
Okay.
That was a referral too.
Okay.
I know his best friend named Johnny. Shout out to Johnny.
Okay.
Who reached out to BJ's manager, and then we got it all together.
Nice.
And it was crazy because it was within 2 weeks of just having him on.
Wow.
So it's fast. Like
Made
some
the
of these are
intro
super
to
fast.
it.
Even the one with the Win in the Reckoning Crew, that one was fast too. It was within I think a couple weeks as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of these are referrals these days. You know what? When I was podcasting first starting off, it was a lot of reaching out to people, having them like, oh, you guys want to come on? But like I've come to a point where a lot of it is referrals now.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I
good.
mean?
That's good.
So we could talk about like future guests on the show. I don't want to spill too
Give
much.
it away.
I don't want to give it away too much, but we have some other like big time guests too.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is referrals these days, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Where we got to this point, because like it's literally just my wife and I.
Yeah.
You know
Awesome.
what I mean? And it, like when I first started off, it was just audio, and then it was just something that I wanted to really bring out like Hawaii talent and people that are doing big things in Hawaii, because it's people that are maybe not even known in Hawaii, but then they're still doing big things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Because like
there's a lot.
there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of grinders out here.
Yes.
So
Yes, there are.
so just getting their name out there.
That. Yeah, I love hearing their stories,
Mm-hmm.
because you never know what's gonna hit home and inspire you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's good that you're having such a broad variety of different guests, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know what? You want to know something too? I share another secret. I actually used to have a podcast too.
Yeah, you do. No, I see that you had Timor on.
Yeah. I had a few guys. I was shooting for the stars, trying to get some of the more famous guys that I knew of. That's why, and especially with
Shouts to Timor.
shout out to Timor. Hey, I'm not gonna connect these dots. I'm not gonna take any credit. But he did blow up right after he came onto my show, and that had the most views on YouTube on all of my shows.
Yeah.
Out of all of my the shows that I did on
shows
YouTube, he was the biggest one. So I mean, I'm not gonna say I had anything to do with it. No, he earned it. He's very dedicated. He's a great guy too. He's a really, really, really good guy. I liked working with him. We kept in touch a little bit here and there after too. So he's just big now. Have you got him on here yet?
No.
Ooh, I'll reach out to him. Maybe
thank
another
you.
referral.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Shouts to Timor.
Yeah, I'll try to reach out to him, let him know.
You knew. Well, you had him on your show before he had.
That's why.
Yeah. He changed his
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Timor. I had to bring it up.
I had doing okay Timur, not crushing it Timur.
No,
You're gonna have
actually-
crushing it Timur.
Actually, even when he was starting off,
Uh-huh.
I think he was doing really good.
Yeah, he was
know what I
doing
mean?
good in terms of his
Stand up and
his
stuff.
the story that he shared with me. I'm sure you were listening to the podcast that I did with him, but the story he shared with me was awesome because he was like, yeah, I took fucking comedy as a joke, as me and my football friends wanted to take an easy class. Then he kind of fell in love with it during football, during at UH, and then the thing about
That's
it
the same
was
as you.
yeah, just decided, hey, you know what, I actually love
Want
this
to
thing.
wrestle girls.
Yeah, for real. That's what started it all. And, it was a joke, but I ended up loving it. But no, same thing with him. He was like, I remember when he was telling me that he kind of fell in love with it, and then he was doing stand-up shows on the side. It wasn't that big, but it was kind of okay. And then he said COVID changed his life forever, and no one's ever going to go around and say, oh, thank COVID, right? But fortunately for him, he was able to use this stay-at-home time to create content on social media. And he said overnight, it just bang, bang, bang. He would do like skits with the toilet paper guy, like, because, stores are running out of toilet paper. He would do these skits of like different jobs in Hawaii. And that catapulted him to the top of being in my opinion, he's the #1 comedian in Hawaii. And so to become that, it took, Like, sometimes in life, you don't know what a situation is going to bring you. COVID was terrible. He probably didn't lose his job, but he probably had to stay home, had to receive like unemployment checks, didn't know when you're going to go back to work. Everyone was panicking that their parents could die. It was a scary time. But you never know, because you don't know what situation in life is, even a negative situation, is actually going to open the doors to a brand new journey, a brand new window. So he just wrote a whole new chapter in a different book. He said, hey, I'm going to start doing social media comedy. And that's how he blew up. Now his stand-ups are selling out every show. And it's like, I'm proud of the guy, because when I...
filling out Blaisdell Center.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
bro, that's amazing. When I interviewed him, what was that, a year and a half ago maybe? When I interviewed him, he was just launching his social media. Like, I think he had 20K followers only. It was really small. And then he's over 100K now, right?
Yep.
But he said he went from like 4K to like 10K after like 3 or 4 skits. It was overnight. He did like 3 or 4 skits online. Everyone's at home anyway watching. So you don't know what opportunities in life are going to bring you. And like, of course, I can't say thank COVID. I can't say that, because first of all, everyone's gonna hate me. Second of all, it was devastating for a lot of people that had family members that passed. But the fact that he was able to turn that into something positive,
it was just an opportunity.
Opportunities, man, and you never know where it's gonna hit you. It could hit hard.
And then he just literally when he was like killing it on social media, and then people were at home. They didn't know what to fucking do at the time, right? So what are they gonna do? They're gonna go on their fucking phones. And then scroll, and then they're gonna see Tamua doing all these skits,
killing it, man. He made me laugh so hard.
And I think a lot of the comedians, they started doing that too. They started making skits at home.
Yeah, and 2020 COVID year was the year of the podcast. Like there were a lot of comedians and actors and football NFL players, and they all had, a lot of them had podcasts before 2020.
Yeah.
But man, 2020, 2021, I did a podcast. Like, I didn't know what else to do either. Everyone was doing podcasts, So, it's cool, man. It's cool to see that. It's cool to see it grow.
You know what's funny about that? So, like, before 2020, so I started, like, Talk Story with Kelsey Sugai in 2018.
Yeah, 18.
And then that's why I knew, like, Coach Darren and Kelly, because we were, they started Hawaii Entrepreneurs 2018 as well. So we all started around the same time. And then I was like really building it. So, but during that time period when I was doing Talk Story, there was like a very few amount of like podcasters out there doing stuff like this. Okay. Right. But then I took a break in August 2020 to like focus on some different things, and then I came back in December 2021. Okay. The landscape changed, and then there's a shitload of podcasters after that, and I was like, I'm super supportive of that. That's my thing. I'm like super supportive of like Hawaii podcasters, but I was like, before that break I took, nobody was fucking doing it.
Yeah, man, that's why. Imagine if you didn't stop. But then again, you wouldn't have had the opportunity to change the things a little bit,
to do something different.
And now you're getting people referring to be on your podcast rather than you having to reach out. Who knows if you would have had that same thing, right? So, maybe that was a good break you took.
I mean, I did some pretty good episodes back then because we did the Mauna Kea podcast.
Oh, cool.
So we went up to Mauna Kea. Yeah. We filmed with Koho'kahi Kanuha, who's the main spokesperson for like the people on Mauna Kea.
Both of you guys.
Oh, just me actually.
Oh, just you. Yeah. Oh, okay.
And then my friend Sky, he was helping me film. But we did a podcast up there, which was pretty crazy.
Man, that's crazy.
I remember, beginning of COVID, they had the election year. Okay. The election year for the mayors. And then me and shout out to Aaron Sakai, who does Sleep Times Over podcast. But he hasn't done it. He's kind of stopped since I think 2022. Okay. But him and I were interviewing mayors. Okay. The mayor candidate, because like the news stations didn't know how to fucking do that. Yeah. They didn't know how to do like Zoom interviews and then make it like good. Yeah. Right. So him and I, he had people on his show, I had people on my show, and we were both just collaborating. Nice. So like, that was like, I think from there people started.
What was the biggest reason you took that break then?
Just cause I was in a good headspace. Like I kind of wanted to like take a step back. I'm kind of a late bloomer for like schooling, cause like I went to school up until like even college. I wasn't doing really good until like 2014. I stopped. But I think I got like my associate's degree and everything, and then I went back to school, 2018. So actually, during that time,
there it is. Yeah.
2018 to 2020, I got my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
And then
accounting.
Yeah, in accounting. And then I took a break just to work because I wanted to build, some kind of career. Just wanted to see stuff. And then 2021, I was like, I came back to like a good schedule where I could do this consistently.
Yeah.
So then that's what I did.
Then awesome. You got right back to it. Didn't skip a beat.
Same thing for you because like you took a break. You went to school. You went to Iowa State.
Yeah.
You dropped out because you wanted to work for a little bit.
Yep.
Just
Exactly.
to build.
Yep. Make some money.
Make some
I mean,
money.
to be honest, I want to make money.
Yeah. And then you went back to school for at St. Cloud University.
Yes.
I'm guessing marketing you went to.
Yep.
You majored in.
Yep. So, well, St. Cloud was different. I was business management and marketing in Iowa State, but St. Cloud was different. They actually offered courses. The major was called entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So I knew this forever. I knew this back when I used to resell my Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I was in 6th grade. I always knew I was gonna own a business and sell something and be in sales.
I sold Pokemon cards.
Yeah. See, so I always knew it. And when I was my senior year of high school, I went to a tournament and I dislocated my elbow, so I was out of training for 3 months. One of my friends introduced me to an insurance company. And so I was only 17 at the time, and you had to be 18 and over to be in sales.
Okay.
So I was helping him do it kind of like illegally under the table, helping him get the sales under his name, but paying me. And then it got to the point where as soon as I turned 18, I became the number one salesman in on Oahu. Sorry, not in the state. It was only Oahu. I became the number one on Oahu for this insurance company, and I was just 18 years old, and I didn't graduate high school yet. So I just became the number one salesman because I had time off from wrestling. I had an injury. So like I said, another opportunity that changed my life forever. I was injured, and I said, fuck, man, I'm about to go to Iowa State. They're ranked number 2 in the nation. They have 3 returning NCAA champs. Like, what am I going to do? Like, right? Like, I was all nervous. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I got to train. And I was like, okay, in the meantime, maybe I can make some money for school. I ended up making like $3,500 every month in sales. And I was 18 years old in high school. Didn't even graduate. And the coolest part was it taught me sales skills. And I forget what I wanted to go to school for at first in college. Immediately after, I was like, damn, I'm pretty good at this sales thing. Immediately, I was like, all right, I'm going to go to school for business. And I never looked back. I always went in and out of business, wrestling, training, business, and always going back and forth. But I started to turn training into a business. Now I do private lessons. I train, I coached at Hawaii Elite MMA for a bit. I coached fighters one-on-one, private lessons with jiu-jitsu guys one-on-one. People fly in from different states and DM me and say, hey, I have a family vacation in Hawaii. Can we roll? Can I do a private lesson? And they pay me pretty good money to do that. I've done seminars. So I'm the kind of guy where like, I love something and I'm passionate about it, but I know how to turn that into money, because I know how to make money. The thing about me in life, I was really, really, really good at making money, but I'm even better at spending it. So like that kind of lifestyle, you have to consistently work hard and make money. You can't be complacent in life, and you can't be like, I'm okay, I got it.
Flow.
You have to have a constant flow, and you have to keep growing. You have to keep learning. You have to. The ego has to be checked at the door. You cannot have an ego and think that you're the best in the room all the time, because sometimes you're going to be in a room with people that are better than you, and that's when it's time to take out the notepad and learn. You learn. You learn as much as you can from them, and then you move on until you can beat them. And then once you're better than them, you find another guy that's better than you can always continuously find more mentors and more mentors. But the day I realized that I can pass every mentor that I have is the day I realized, like, I'm going into every mentorship, even friendship, everything in life is, how can I use this relationship between me and this person to benefit the both of us? And if there's no benefit, whether it's emotionally, like positively, like making me inspired and motivated to want to be better, or how do we make each other money, right? Then I don't really have friends. I don't really have a lot of friends right now. I kind of made that choice a long time ago to say I'm gonna sacrifice friends, even in high school, to wrestle, to train. That's why I got so good so fast. 3-time state placer, the highest 3-time state placer from IA High School ever in the history, and like
It's incredible.
yeah, and IA High School stinks at wrestling. It's fucking terrible. But it's because I dedicated my life to it, and my friends would invite me to the beach. I'd say no. Invite me out to do things. I say no. And I carry that in business too, because there's some things that I had to sacrifice in order to get where I am and to get what I want. So it's a lot of sacrifice, but in the long run, it's knowing that I'm like, I always walk, I'm the shit. I'm the fucking the best guy. Like, right. I have to train. I have to think in that mindset all the time. Like, I have to be the best ever to ever do it, or else why am I doing it at all? If I'm not going to give it 120%, I'm not going to do it at all. Right. So with that mindset, whenever I meet someone who has something that I want or something greater than I have, that's when I check the ego and I pull it aside. Instead of competing with this person, I befriend the person and I try to learn all that I can from that person. But of course, in my back pocket and in the back of my mind, it's always the only reason why I'm sucking up to the guy and learning everything I can is because one day I'm going to beat that guy. I'm going to beat that guy at what he has. I'm going to beat that guy at what he's done because I get to learn from him so I can beat him and then move on to the next. I'm like playing a video game. I want to beat the next boss, beat the next boss. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at right now on my entrepreneurial career. Man, so many ups and downs, bro. It's like you can be so successful one day and the next day have fucking nothing. My first company I started, I thought I was the shit, Gavin. I thought I was the fucking man because I was 24 years old, super hot girlfriend. Like, I had everything, right? Like, I thought I was the man. I bought a fairly new Mercedes. I think it was like 2 years, but it was like a $90,000 car. But of course, I got it really cheap because it was I got a hookup. I got a hookup from the auction, from a family friend. But I drove the nice car. I got the girls, right? I owned the company. I was the first big sold out EDM show in Crossroads in Hawaiian Bryans. I had Collier Entertainment. Lee, the owner of Hawaiian Bryans, was one of my best friends. We were rocking and rolling there. And people are and some people, sorry if you worked for me before and you only made a little bit amount of money. You're going to probably hate this if you're listening. But yeah, there were some events where I took home like $15,000 in one night. And I was 24 years old. I thought I was on top of the world. And I could give, if there's any advice out there for you guys to take, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're in business, if you're in sales, if you're in anything where you want to be successful, don't ever celebrate your wins. Don't ever think you know it all. Don't ever think that I found the answer and this is it for life. Because the very next day, all of that could come to nothing. It could crash, right? You could have the number one company and the number one, let's just say you sell the number one water company in the world and one person gets sick from it the next day. And all of a sudden, the whole company crashes. You have contaminated water. You go back to zero. Everybody hates you. That could happen to you at any time. So my biggest lesson that I've ever learned in business is don't over celebrate, right? Don't ever, for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction in the universe. So like if you're celebrating at super, super high, like I'm the shit, I'm the best, I'm better than everybody, there's going to be a day where you're not the shit, you're a piece of shit, and you're below everybody, and you have nothing. And I've dealt with that so many times, because I've never had a business that lost money. All 6 of my companies are profitable. But
that's good.
But the crazy thing is, like I said, I have a problem with spending too, right? So I got the nice car, I got the nice things, I got the nice watch, I had the nice suits, expensive suits. I did all of that stuff for nothing, just to come to nothing, just to find out that I had nothing again. Started a wrestling academy, had nothing again after that. Got into some trouble there, nothing after that. And then started a landscaping, a construction company, blew it up, took home $100,000 in the first 13 months. I've never pushed a lawnmower in my life. I've never looked at grass before in my life. I don't know but I hired people that knew what they were doing. I'm really, really good at sales and business. I did the marketing online, did advertising, turned it into like $10,000 a month. And like, man, it was rocking and rolling, right? So I know that if you celebrate too much, it will come to an end. Nothing lasts forever. That's the lesson here. Nothing lasts forever. You might think you're on top of the world today, Well, I'm telling you, something's gonna humble you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It could be COVID. It could be something. And you never know. So many companies shut down. $1 billion companies shut down because of COVID. And retailers, right? So restaurants, right? You just never know. So don't celebrate your wins. Never think you're on top of the world. Always strive to be better and greater. And if you win, cool. If you lose, cool. Don't get too down. Don't get too high. Just kind of live life in this. I'm going to keep working gradually, slowly, and get better every day. My coach in college used to call it, you don't need to be a national champ overnight. You need to get 1% better each day. If you're 1% better than you were yesterday, today, after practice today, you're improving. And that's all we can ask of you, to get 1% better each day. So I carried that in life. And now I got 4 big things going for me right now. These companies that, you know, we mentioned and we can get into as well. But it's because the more I work, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Things fall into my lap on a silver platter. And people are like, how the fuck does this keep happening to Dallas? You know? And it's I think it's luck a little bit, but it's luck based off of the work that I put in. You know? And I love seeing the reward, but now I learned my lesson to don't expect more. Just because you've got it doesn't mean you're gonna get it again tomorrow, you know? So you gotta keep that mindset of grind forever like you have nothing. Work like you have nothing. Don't act like you're rich, even if you did make $1 million. You could lose it all.
Yeah.
Family could get sick, your mom could get cancer. You just fucking never know, you know? You never know, you could be wiped out again. So work like you have nothing every day until until you've completed at the end of your life. You can look back and say, no regrets. I lived my life to the greatest. I had a good run, you know? So that's how I like to live.
Yeah, and that's like YouTubers too, because like, you know, with YouTubers, they can be hot, you know what I mean, for fucking 10 plus years, but then they can hit a brick wall at some point, and it just they're
somebody younger, hotter, better.
Their channel just fucking collapses after that. You know what I mean? So like staying relevant, staying consistent, and being able to sustain that for a long time. I think that's the key.
That's the key.
You know what I mean?
100%. That's the key. Just being consistent. You don't have to be the best. You have to be the most consistent. Because because sooner or later the best, they're gonna fall off. They're gonna celebrate. Like Drake is the best, but he's fucking consistent. He doesn't stop. So many guys have one hit quitters. Like they're just done already. You know, one hit wonders. I call them one hit quitters because they quit. I made it. I made $1 million, and then they're broke again. You know, and it's like, just be consistent.
Yeah, and they couldn't keep that flow going.
Yeah, man, sucks to see, because a lot of guys had talent. We call it the Fetty Wap disease.
Fetty Wap.
me and my friends, we call it don't.
I know exactly what you're referencing there.
Don't have the Fetty Wap disease.
Fetty Wap.
He had like the most ever #1 on the top Billboard, the top 100, and you never hear from him again.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's even like the guy that made Gangnam Style, right? Same thing with him, because like he made a banger, right? But then all of a sudden, like his next hit didn't even do as well.
No.
And then now
done.
he's forgetted.
Done.
Yeah.
I think I personally think he just celebrated Gangnam Style too much. He just I'm on top of the world.
Gangnam Style too much.
Yeah. He was just doing this too much with the Korean girls with the plastic surgery, and that was it. They're done already. They were all plastic surgery out. So.
But yeah, that's the thing about like the ones that are successful, like super successful, like the Leonardo DiCaprios, because they stay consistent and they find the right circles.
Yeah,
I think that's another one too, because like if you don't have the good circle, then like of influence, then it's like, oh shit, you know what I mean? They could be bringing you down too.
Yeah.
You know
Oh man. So there's so many stories. Successful stories. Selena, right? She got shot by her own manager or whatever, or her own tour person. Like, you know, like,
I thought it was
or like a fan club.
Fan.
Yeah, like a fan club, a leader of our fan club. But she kept her like too close, and it's like you can't surround yourself with those kind of people. And you know, there's so many instances where there's behind the scenes cooking the books, stealing from your own. Like a manager stealing from the artist, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Record labels are allegedly, you know, killing people that they have insurance policies on their own artists. Like, man, there's so many shady people and shady things out there. So keep it close, you know. Keep your enemies and your friends closer, right? Keep your enemies close Or
And then even like who we were talking about earlier with Dana White.
Yeah.
You know, same thing. Same thing with him, because like with the Fertitta brothers, right? What they built, I thought it was amazing. But then when they switched management companies to the UFC today, it's like, in my opinion, it lost its like the heart of MMA.
The heart. It lost the heart of it. Now you can tell it's like a gimmick.
Yeah.
It feels like a gimmick.
Yeah.
Like I'm not okay, I am a little bit of a conspiracy guy, but I never ever believed that Hamza was gonna fight Nate. I think I think they knew it within 8 weeks prior. I think 8 weeks prior they're like, hey, we're gonna pull this shenanigans at the weigh-ins, but I don't want Nate fighting Hamza Chimaev. Right? I have a feeling about that, and I just, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but come on, man. They pull so much gimmicks like WWE. It turned into a little bit of WWE, so.
And then WWE is like its own niche already, and they've been doing it that same formula for a while. But I mean, they changed a few things in between. But like UFC is kind of like that, where it's turned into more of a gimmick thing.
Yeah, look at the slap fighting.
Yeah, slap fighting. Yeah, slap fighting.
Dana White, he was like, you know what? UFC was passionate. It was true martial artists. But let's turn it into a shit show. So first he's like, let's pay the Nelk boys millions of dollars just to hang out with us. Let's get Hasbullah a contract. Let's pay Hasbullah 10 times more than we pay all the undercard fighters put together. And then on top of that, I said, hey, let's promote the Slap Fight League.
Now he's gonna have a contender series with slap fighters.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? All slap.
Then they have like their own show, and they're promoting it. So don't get me wrong, I'm a degenerate myself. I watch me some slap fights. I enjoy it, but that's not what the UFC stood for in the beginning. Like you're right, in the beginning, and it was who's the best martial artist and who's gonna prove it. They put the best fights together. Now it's like I said, it's a gimmick. It's the BMF belt. It's just a bunch of WWE style. And I mean, don't get me wrong, WWE is very 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 successful, but I think you're kind of tarnishing the name, the brand of martial arts. You're turning it into Jerry Springer type, Yeah,
because there was like some killers back in the day for MMA. Like, I mean, Crow Cop was a killer. Ensign, shouts to Ensign Inoue, who also was on the show too.
Really? Oh yeah, that's right. I saw him. I thought it was Egan, but it's Ensign.
Yeah, it was Ensign.
Okay, that's right.
And then I'm gonna have Egan on sometime too. But Ensign, BJ, all these killers back in the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you look at it now, and it's just a bunch of different guys, but then they really promote like the Hamzats or they promote like the next Habibs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they try to promote. I mean, like, look, they let Connor off throwing and hurting other fighters, throwing the trolley or whatever it was, the hand truck.
The hand truck.
Yeah, he threw it at the bus, shattered it. Some fighters couldn't fight. They let him go.
Yep. Slap. It was a slap on the wrist.
Yeah,
another slap.
No, they didn't.
Another slap.
Hey, good one. I like that. But I still love the UFC. I can't. There's something I want to say about the UFC. For me personally, I can't talk much about it because it's still in development, but I'm actually developing something.
Okay.
Like an app for them. So, but I can't talk about it. It's kind of.
We'll talk about off air.
It's confidential. Yeah, it's confidential, especially off air for sure. But little confidential. But that's one of the projects I'm working on. And I got a lot of good feedback on it. So I'm like ready to take this thing to the next level. So I'm hiring developers, helping me develop an app. And I'm currently working with an app as well, SoMee.
Yeah,
right?
Let's talk about SoMee.
Yeah, so SoMee. So I've pretty much been in sales and marketing and promotion. Obviously, I had my concert company in 2015. But I've been in sales and marketing for a long time, and I worked my way up. It got to the point where I got so confident I could sell anybody on anything. In the beginning, I was selling the insurance when I was 18. I used to sell skincare products before. And I was the top in the entire company in the USA at one point.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I was selling marketing deals. So what my job was to cold call businesses and offer them marketing services from this agency that hired me to be the VP of sales. uh, he started to get clients like Vacations Hawaii, LNL, like Pearl Hawaii Federal Credit Union. I've booked meetings at Polynesian Cultural Center, Long CVS. Like those are like the clients that I brought in by
Really?
myself.
Okay.
Of cold calling them.
Oh,
I'm really
jeez.
good over the phone. Like I'm like boiler room style, Wolf of Wall Street style over the phone. I don't take no for an answer, right? But for me, being so successful in sales, it took me far, and I started to get recognized by CEOs, and I got headhunted a few times, which is awesome because like headhunters are looking after are seeking me, right? I was a sought out sales person. So I started my own sales and consulting business in 2019, I think it was. And basically I was representing two different things. I was doing sales consulting and marketing consulting for companies in Hawaii and mainland companies too. And then I decided I wanted to manage local artists like Kelsey Sugai. He was one of my clients.
Oh, okay.
Frank the G. He does. They're both social media comedians. Frank is also a singer, musician. He raps. He has his own music on Spotify. He's awesome, by the way. He has a voice. But anyway, I was managing a lot of people in Hawaii, getting them gigs. I used to book gigs for, reggae artists. And the secret on how I blew it up, similar to Ray Jr. style, I would book big time DJs, big time reggae bands, Fortunate Youth out of California or wherever they're from. I don't know. I'm not really, who cares? They made me money. Anyway, so I would book them, and I would have the guys that I manage sneak a spot on the show, showcase their talents, and then people are like, "Oh, who's that guy? Who was the opener?" Boom! I was able to book him at Surf for the Bar, book him headlining shows. So I was pretty good at being almost like an agent style, but I was a manager because I don't have like an agent. I don't have. I'm not a licensed agent like from SAG or anything. But for me, I was having so much fun doing the shows and double dipping on it. I'm booking my own guys. It built my promotion and negotiating skills as well. So all of these, and I did a lot of network marketing in the past when I was younger too, MLM. So all of these little things got me these skills in sales. And I was working for a blockchain company that I did over $1 million in sales for in 1 year. I was working for this blockchain company that kind of went under. And so it was a situation where while I was working for that blockchain company though, I had another company, this company SoMee, who was kind of, headhunting me, talking to me like, "Hey, we want you to work with us. We're a similar product that you guys have with the other blockchain company, but we've been in business 10 years." I said, "Oh yeah, that sounds really, really good." So for me, I'm loyal. I go where the money's at too. I'm not gonna say I'm like extremely loyal. I go where the money's at. If I feel like I'm being mistreated somewhere, I'm gonna go somewhere better. But I was being treated really good at this one company. But when I had news that they were gonna go under, they were gonna go bankrupt, and I was like, it's only right that I asked the owner, the CEO, who's a friend of mine too. I asked him like, "Hey, is it okay if I leave to another company?" And he, no bad feelings, nothing. He was like, "Sure, you know what? If it's gonna be better for you, go ahead and go now before we really get into some shit and we go bankrupt, and you might get some hate along the way because you sold so many people to join this company." But anyway, so I was like, "Sure, thank you." I went over to this company SoMee, and so what SoMee is, it's SoMee, SOMEE, Social Media Empowered. It's a social media company where anyone can join and start monetizing on the platform right away without having to be some big time influencer or big time celebrity. It opens up the playing field equally for anyone to get started. And so it's pretty awesome. But before that, the reason why social media and there's so much attention on social media these days is because guys like CEO of Facebook, I don't want to shout out their names, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So these kind of guys, they and TikTok is a freaking crazy one, by the way. They take your user data and they sell it to companies for advertising, and they make billions of dollars on it. For example, if I'm talking on my phone with you right now, and I'm searching these things on the internet as well, like, "Hey man, I want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers gear, right? I want to get different accessories for Pittsburgh Steelers," and I start Googling Pittsburgh Steelers accessories. they're listening to us when we talk on our phones, right? And they know that I went to a Pittsburgh Steeler website to go to buy some shirts or look at some jerseys. Instagram will all of a sudden, on the sponsored ads, you'll start seeing posts or sponsored ads of Pittsburgh Steelers gear. Yeah. And you're like, what the hell's going on? I never told Instagram, hey, can you go ahead and look at Pittsburgh Steeler gear for me? I never told them that. I never gave them permission to do that. They just do it anyway. Now, if Instagram said, hey, sorry we did that, we'll pay you 10 cents for every ad you see. Oh, fuck it. Yeah, let's do it. I'm getting paid. But you don't get paid for that. They're doing it behind your back. So they're offering all this bullshit on, oh, you can do monetization on Instagram now if you post enough reels and you get so many views that we control. We control the amount of views you have to get in order to get the money, by the way. But yeah, we'll give you a few views here and there. I know people that have hundreds of thousands of followers that make $200 a month on Instagram reels. So it's kind of not fair what they're doing, because for the amount of people posting reels and trying to monetize, and if you guys are influencers out there trying to monetize, think about it like this. They're selling your private data and selling the amount of time that you spend on Instagram. They're selling that to people for billions of dollars. So for you to get something stolen behind your back, sometimes I walk into a store while I'm on Instagram, like Starbucks, and then I'll get a Starbucks ad on Instagram. Like, what the fuck? I didn't even search it on my phone. I just walked in the store while I was on Instagram. It's because your location services is on you. They don't ask you. They just do it. And they sell it for billions of dollars, you know? So the reason why I love SoMee so much is because your private data is safe and secure. They don't hold any private keys. They don't track where you are. To even supplement this even more, to add on to this, SoMee doesn't even have an algorithm built.
Oh,
so yeah, there's no algorithm, meaning we're not tracking what you're liking, what you're hashtagging. We're not going to give you suggested things that we think you like. Yeah, I have a cat at home and I kind of like cats, but that doesn't mean I want to see cat videos all the time on
your Explore
my
page.
Explore has freaking cat videos. I'm like, dude, the UFC fights, the UFC announcements, cool. I want to see that. But there's some things that I maybe liked one video and that's it. The algorithm shifted me to cats. I'm like, bro, stop that. I liked one cat video. We should be able to choose what we want to be shown to us, not have it be forced on us. And so SoMee protects that. So it's very similar to Rumble as well, because the second thing that we promote is the free speech. You can go on and say, I fucking hate Biden, or hey, I love Biden, or I hate Trump, I hate Hillary Clinton. You can say anything you want. I'm glad Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. He's a bitch. You can say that stuff. And you won't get shadow banned. You won't get pulled off of an algorithm. Like I said, we don't have one. And we won't take down one of your sponsored posts, because it's the same thing. You could do a sponsored post on SoMee. So you pay for it the same way like you would with Instagram and you can you know, your reach is so many thousand people. But it's not targeted, and it's definitely not you won't get shadow banned for arbitrary reasons, like the reasons that we choose. So like, if let's just say I love Donald Trump and I hate Biden, and you start saying political things negative things about Trump, Instagram will take it down. Instagram will be like, hey, this is false information about in politics. We're gonna have to take this down. You can't monetize off this.
It doesn't adhere to our community guidelines.
Our community guidelines, not the community guidelines. Our community guidelines. SoMee doesn't have our community guidelines. It's the state law. You can't go and shoot. ISIS can't behead people on the site because it will have to get taken down. That's the law, right? But you could have, like I said, anything in politics or anything like that. Tell you a funny story about BJ Penn. I did a wrestling seminar, and I did a seminar in Hawaii, and in the background they had BJ for Gov, a banner. Half of the banner wasn't even shown. It didn't even say BJ4. It just said Gov. Like it said OR Gov. You have no idea what it said. Oh, God. I posted that, and because I have a pretty decent following and a lot of people started to like it and generated a lot of traffic, the algorithm and the AI sensed that it had something for Gov in the background. I'm teaching wrestling, and they shut it down. They dropped it. They banned it. And they said, if you post another thing like this, your account will be banned. I'm like, bro, it's in the background, and it just said or gov.
Oh,
I was like, they have too much control over what you can and can't post, and what you can and can't monetize off of. With SoMee, your privacy is secure. We're not selling it to advertisers. You're not going to be shadow banned for arbitrary reasons. Andrew Tate would love our platform. And then, second. And third, and lastly, what I'm saying about anyone can monetize their content, if I were to repost a meme on SoMee, you're able to monetize that. And it's not a tipping system, meaning I'm not going to, or a paywall, meaning I'm not going to pay out of my own pocket to add value. Every time you post content and it generates a certain amount of likes, you're going to earn based off of the amount of people that liked it. So there's a pool of rewards every day that's given out. So right now the platform's so small that the pool of rewards are huge. Like you're earning $5 a post, $10 a post,
dang.
$20 a post. My mom posted her crochet crap. And all she does is make little freaking animals and things in crochet, and she knits and yarns or whatever. But she creates these things. She posted it. Of course, I shout out, everybody, follow my mom. She's new on SoMee.
Yeah.
$31 it generated.
Wow.
That one post. And so
That's amazing.
the payout is cool because it pays out in two ways. The first way is being the content creator. So obviously, yes, I'm not going to lie to you guys. It is an equal playing field. But if you're an influencer and you're badass or you're super hot, you're probably gonna get paid more than everybody else is because more people are gonna like your posts. You're a known influencer. It's been proven that you can get people to want to see your content. So the cool thing to kind of negate that and kind of equal it even more is now not only do you get paid for posting the content, you get paid for liking it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you put a thumbs up, you say, I like this post, you get a fraction of the earnings that post generated.
Wow.
So 50% of the whole post, like let's just say the post generated like $50. $25 goes to the person that posted it, the content creator. 25 is split up between all the people that liked it.
Wow.
Yeah. So if there's 25 people that liked it, they potentially can each get $1 off.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's awesome. And like I said, it's a rewards pool. So right now people are earning a lot. They ain't gonna be earning a lot once it becomes mainstream. Right? Yeah. So after I saw what SoMee stood for, the right to not and I joined SoMee after my post got banned. So even more so, I'm like, perfect. But the fact of your privacy, they're not going to keep track of they're not going to keep track of all the cat videos you like. They're not going to keep track of that stuff. And then you're not going to get banned, and anybody can monetize. That alone is the reason why I said, hey, you know what? I want to do sales and marketing for this company. So that's what I'm hired to do. I do have a title of director of marketing, but I'm going through my marketing and sales consulting company, my LLC, better for taxes and stuff that I wanted to do it that way. But yeah, I proudly promote and represent SoMee, and I'm so happy with what we've been able to do. We just partnered with Honey, the coupon app.
Yeah,
we've just partnered with them. We partnered with Skrill, who has 70 million wallet holders. Skrill has been bought out by Pay something. But Skrill was like a European version of PayPal.
Oh, really?
And so they have 70 million people using the app. SoMee is gonna have a banner on the app and say, "Hey, learn more. Click here," and it's gonna take them to more information. So we're assuming that at least 5% or less is gonna convert to being SoMee users, just because there's gonna be a Skrill debit card featured on SoMee, and they're going to do a lot of things in the partnership. But that's 70 million people that are going to be exposed to it. The people that I'm not even sure how I'm allowed to say this stuff, but fuck it. The people that founded and promoted DraftKings turned it into I'm pretty sure it's publicly traded now, if I'm not mistaken. The people who took it from just an app, a gambling app, to a sports betting app, to where it's at now, those people are now on SoMee.
Wow.
Yeah, they've created their accounts, they created their groups, and they said they're gonna help us blow it up.
Wow.
And so with that kind of momentum,
huge.
with that kind of momentum, it really excites me. I think the biggest thing to date that excites me on a personal level on SoMee, tonight is my flight out here. I'm flying to New York City So I'm gonna be filming at the New York Stock Exchange. They're gonna be interviewing me like this, and our clips are gonna be streamed on Bloomberg News and Fox Business News. I'm gonna be doing the same thing with you, talking about SoMee specifically though, and explaining how it works and explaining how it's gonna benefit the millions and millions of future users in the next generations to come, and how it's gonna be a household name in social media. But I'm gonna be doing this at the New York Stock Exchange with our Nasdaq partnership, and it's gonna be featured on a billboard on Times Square as well.
Really?
So I get to fly out there. I get these kind of opportunities.
That's amazing.
And it's like what I was saying, man. I never gave up on my goals and my dreams, no matter how many years I went up and down. 24 years old, started my first company, thought I was the shit, went to nothing. Started a new company, went to shit, thought it turned into nothing. And all of these companies made me a lot of money. But I always lost it all because I always expected, like, man, if I made it here, imagine what I'll do in year 2, year 3, year 4, shut down. Damn it, COVID. Like, you never know, right? So I just worked on myself, and I worked on, like I was saying, like worked on my my mindset. And every day growing, that 1% growth. But it comes to the point, man, where I just keep getting lucky. They just call me, they're like, hey, we want you to represent SoMee. Maybe they're pulling the race card, like, hey, we don't want any more we don't want any more straight white males to go there. We kind of want some Asian guy with tattoos. I mean, who knows, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what the thing is? But I get to, I get opportunities
But
like
you get
this.
that opportunity.
Yeah. And I'm a public school, IAEA high school graduate that dropped out of college twice actually. And for me to have these kind of opportunities, I set myself up for success every day. The things that I'm doing, But SoMee has opened up a gate for me to where I do have these opportunities to meet the guys from DraftKings. I met an actor that just acted on the Roadhouse, new Roadhouse movie with Conor McGregor. So he was telling me about how it is working with Conor. I got to meet these guys face to face, and it's just, it's opened up a whole window of opportunity for me, being an expert in my field. And being the kind of guy that strives for success. So lucky me, I do get to do that. But once, SoMee blows up, and I do have shares in the company, I own stock as well. I'm on retainer with the company from my marketing company. So yeah, it brings monetary value. But like I said, I don't cheer, I don't celebrate. I just say, what can it open? What more opportunities is this going to open to the next thing, and yeah, I've been able to use that to gain more clients, hire workers to help me do marketing. I do a lot of outsourcing, but I do have a team now that we handle marketing, sales for other companies, and I was able to grow it like that. But for me, it's just like I said, I'm excited, and I'm fortunate enough to be brought these kind of windows of opportunity. But I'm the kind of guy, man, I jump. I jump. Right when I'm the most scared and the most skeptical, that's when I jump. I'm different. If I'm like, oh, man, I don't think I could ever pull this off, so I'm going to fucking do it. Like, everyone thinks I shouldn't do it. That's when I'm going to fucking do it. I want to prove these people wrong. So I have that same mentality like a fighter,
Yeah.
And I'm always going to carry that with me. So
That's great.
yeah.
I mean, that's amazing, dude.
I love it.
So just to kind of put everything together, wrap it up. I mean, what's next for you?
Yeah, dude. Just to wrap it up, I do have CIG as well, and I think that's gonna be my my.
You can talk about the Discord.
Yeah, the end of my life, and so I started an investment group on Discord, grew it to a few hundred people. Trading stocks. I gave out some stock picks. It did right. It did really well. I got into crypto. I had a pretty big name in crypto. It until the market crashed and FTX fucked it up for everybody. But I made some pretty big names in myself for investing, to the point where I got a lot of people asking me so much, like, Dallas, what's the next move? What's the next move? So I decided to incorporate a company called Collier Investment Group Incorporated, and we are my company's based in British Virgin Islands, BVI.
Oh,
and so I have an overseas investment fund. It's a private fund, so people invest into it, and I invest their money for them, kind of like similar to like a hedge fund. But I do have one huge project that I'm working on, and I can't give away too much, but what I can say is I have access to I'm working on a licensing deal where I have access to an a guy who created this AI technology, and this AI is a stock predictor, and it predicts stocks.
What?
And right now, it's performing at 90% accuracy on the vetted stocks.
That's really good, though.
Yeah.
Man.
So everybody will be hearing from me soon about doing a capital raise if anybody wants to be a part of this and invest into this project. But it's not a trader. It's not a trading bot. A lot of people do trading bots. What we are is a stock predictor. And once I'm licensed to own or I'll have the licensing for this. I could either, sell it to third parties, other people that are in different funds, Roth IRAs that are looking to, gain their clients, more money, a bigger profit. I'm gonna be. Have you watched the movie Billions? No, sorry, not the movie, but the show Billions. Something similar to where it's like a hedge fund. But in the later episodes and the later seasons of Billions, they started to implement AI in the quants, right?
Right. Okay.
And so it does like automatic. It picks winners, right?
Okay.
That's what I have access to right now.
Oh,
So that's
interesting.
That's gonna be that's what I want to retire with in my life. Like I want to be a billionaire hedge fund, manager. So
And
yeah.
make your own show.
Yeah, I mean, do whatever, do whatever. I mean, I don't want to stop working. I know when I hit big in investing and made like, probably over $100,000 with investing, I thought that was it for my life. I thought that this is a perfect way to end this. I thought that that's what I wanted to be doing for the rest of my life. I told everybody, fuck working, fuck being out in the field. I want to sit back, chill at home, do what I want to do, hang out with my family, do whatever I want to do, wake up and do anything I want, whatever I want, with whoever I want. I used to say that all the time, and I want to use my money to make more money. That's cool, but I get bored really, really, really fast. And so I have to be out there in the front lines, in the action, doing these interviews, doing this podcast, being on different shows, and doing the work, negotiating contracts, negotiating deals, and moving forward into that aspect. But I have to be out in the field, man. I'm like the kind of leader that's like Leonidas at 300. I can't be sitting in the back like Xerxes. I want to be in the front lines killing motherfuckers too, So that's just been my mentality. And what investing has taught me is, yes, I want to use my money to make more money. I am doing, getting into real estate investing as well. I'm putting my money and diversifying in different places. But it doesn't end there for me. I'm going to continuously work and doing sales, negotiating the deals, closing deals, ABC, right? Always be closing. And yeah, I'm going to be working the front lines and enjoying my life. But 24/7 nonstop working. I don't want to sit back and invest and relax. It's boring. I'm freaking 30 years old. I want to get out there. Yeah, I want to be out there fighting until I die. So, but yeah, that's where I see myself continuously working towards, the things that I'm in right now, for sure.
I hear you on that. Yeah, because I'm like that too. I'm like, when people talk about retirement, you know what I mean? A lot of them are like, oh, I just want to sit down on my couch and watch TV, and I'm like, I mean, I don't want to like die like that.
Yeah.
Sitting, like I want to like die on my own, knowing that I was already doing something.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
So.
And I think you're gonna do it with this thing, man. This thing's gonna be big for you. It's gonna blow up.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna help you promote this thing, man, and hopefully I can get back on another episode when.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, maybe later give you guys an update.
The fishing girls.
If they get on, I better get on with them. And I could be sitting back there with her. I don't care. I just want to eat what they got. I want to eat that fresh fish that they caught that day, man. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, man. Well,
cool.
First off, hey, thank you for coming on the show,
Yeah,
Dallas,
man.
and
Yeah,
thank you for praising the show, man. That caught me a little bit off guard, but I was like, nah, fuck it, we'll ride with it. But I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I mean, you help other people share their stories, but sometimes it's good to share your own too. Your listeners want to know where you started, where you came from, and where you're at now, and where you look to go. I don't think a lot of them heard that, but now they're like, this is where he wants to take it. He wants to take it worldwide.
Yeah,
that's good. It's good for you to put that out there in the universe, man.
Yeah,
Proud of you too, man. It's good. I'm glad to see other people in Hawaii wanting to.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Get off of this rock.
Yeah, exactly. They're not just sitting on the couch watching TV. You know what I mean? They're fucking.
Yeah. There's guys like us who want it. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, thanks for having me. So what do we do? How do we close this out? What do we do?
Do you want to shout out anything? You like any social medias or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I do have my social media at Dally Boy. I'm sure you're gonna tag it in the show or whatever. That's Instagram. If you guys were interested in my investment group and being a part of that, my Discord link is in my bio on Instagram. But there's also a link to SoMee for any of you guys that just wanted to try SoMee. It's free. You don't charge anybody. You can create a free account, keep your identity safe, and also you can start monetizing right away from day one. So yeah, that's
Definitely. Do you want to shout out your YouTube page?
No, not right now. I you know why? Because I haven't been so active like you are on this, right?
That's true.
Like, we all have what we want to do in life, and right now I wanted to put that to the side because this is something I want to pursue my sales and going with SoMee and my investing. So, but yeah, if you guys want, just follow me on Instagram. That's it.
Yeah. I'll definitely put it in the captions and then it'll be in the
Cool,
video as well.
man.
So.
Yeah, thanks for this too.
Definitely.
Appreciate this.
Yeah,
this
man.
is awesome.
So people know at the end of the show we always do a
Kampai,
Kampai at the end. Dallas, this is to you. This is to your success in the future.
Thank you.
This is to all that you're doing. I mean, of course, we're gonna talk about more of it after cameras are off. But like, dude, there's sky's the limit for you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I look forward to meeting again.
Guaranteed. Kampai.